Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we are talking about Netflix's brand new action thriller starring Matt Damon and Ben Affleck called The Rip. So if you're new around here, leave a like and subscribe. It really helps out my channel. And if you want to see more movie content, you can check out the rest of my channel where I've done reviews over other 2026 films on my journey to rank all of them as I watch them. You can also find the entire list of films I've seen in my letterbox in the description, as well as my ranking of all of the 2025 films that I watched. And with all that said, let's just get right into the review. So, The Rip is Netflix's brand new action thriller loosely based off of real events, where a group of Miami cops locate a stash of an extremely large amount of cash and have to figure out what to do with it in a world where there are a bunch of dirty cops in the system. Very interesting, very simple premise, I will admit. But it really works here. The first, 30 or so minutes of the film, the kind of setup act, are very interesting. I was very intrigued with the direction that this story was going to take from the get-go. Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, of course, just have really good chemistry in general because they're really good friends in real life, so they work really well together. I'm a big fan of Steven Yeun. The Walking Dead was my favorite TV show of all time, so having Steven Yeun here, someone that I really like, is also a great addition to the cast. And he's really great in this movie. He's a really good little subversion of expectations character, so that works really well. Through the first act, I was constantly questioning, what's going on, what's going to be the plot, who's going to try and steal this money, who's trying to kill them, what's going on. The first act was very engaging with how many questions I was asking about the kind of the plot and what was going on. The second act, it starts to introduce a lot more, kind of lore to the world around these cops and the cartel and so many other characters. And I will say the script definitely falls apart in the second act. There's a lot of questioning of okay, that doesn't really make sense, but I'll limit my belief here. My suspension of disbelief will be here so I can enjoy the movie. And luckily, the second act is really the only act that really works like this, where there's a little bit of okay, that doesn't really make sense, but whatever. And then you get to the third act, and by the third act, this film really picks up, and I will admit, there's one scene where all of the characters are on this, big, convoy truck, that I was, gripping my couch. I was locked in for that scene. So, I will give the movie credit. There was that one scene that was really good, and the entire ending of the film really is action-packed, very gripping and engaging, and that works really well for this movie. I think in general, the film is a really good movie, just to kind of have fun with. If you don't take it, fully serious and think it's going to be this fine art, I think it is totally an enjoyable film. Some would compare this to a dad movie, and that's basically exactly what it is. Like The Accountant or even Extraction. These are very much these action thrillers that are oriented to a slightly older male audience, but I think it works here. And in general, I think that you can enjoy this film if you're not a dad, but I mean, I had a good time with it, so there's that. Let's talk about some overtly positive things. Like I said, that third act is absolutely fantastic, but I think in general the character work is really interesting. The way that they categorize Matt Damon's character, Ben Affleck's character, Steven Yeun's character, and even Teyana Taylor's character is all really, really good. I wasn't too big on the other characters. I think they're decent, but they don't really have enough emphasis on the plot to really make any big of a difference, I guess. But those four core characters, they all had very good characterization. I was very interested in the way that they had a dynamic with each other, and I thought they were really great for what they offered to the story. As for stuff I was mixed on, the twist at the end of the film is really great, but I thought that the character who the twist revolves around was a little bit, it was definitely unpredictable, but it was a little bit of a kind of, oh, that's the answer. That was a little bit of a cop-out, I guess, if that makes sense. So I was a little disappointed with one of the reveals in the finale, but the other reveal is really good. I'm trying not to spoil anything so you can still enjoy the film. It makes it really hard, but the twist has, the ending twist is very multi-layered, and I thought some of the layers were really good, and some of the layers were oh, okay, well that was not really as exciting as I was hoping this ending would be. The other thing is that spoiler alert for all movies ever made, but if you didn't know that iPhone has a contract, or at least I'm under the assumption that this is still a thing. This may have not been a thing anymore, but I'm under the assumption that iPhone has a contract, or Apple has a contract, where characters that have an iPhone, they are oftentimes not the villain, and they oftentimes can't die in films. And there are significantly large amounts of characters in this film that have an iPhone, and a other chunk that have an Android. So I don't know if that's still a thing, like a contractual thing that they have. That could be a thing that's in the past and I'm outdated on that information. But if that is still a thing, then that kind of very quickly gave away for me as a viewer who was going to be the kind of the villain and who wasn't. And that does undermine the twist a little bit. Even though I thought the twist was fantastic, I tried to kind of block out that iPhone knowledge from my mind. That is still something that, first of all, I think everybody should know because it's just really fun little movie trivia. But it's something that did take away a little bit of the plot for me personally. As for the overtly negative things, like I said, the second act was by far the most confusing stretch of the film. Without major spoilers, there's a point in the film where Ben Affleck's character goes off on his own little side quest. And when he goes off on the side quest, he comes back from the side quest with a character who is assumed to be a member of the cartel. And instead of arresting the guy or like being relatively rude to him, because this is still a drug lord character, they're very nice to him. They treat him with a lot of like respect, and they allow him to make a phone call to his boss to like confirm that the cartel isn't the ones trying to kill them. And like the cartel boss phone call is like a FaceTime call on screen. I just thought that was really dumb, and that whole little plot segment could have been completely cut out, and they could have just been under the assumption or had a different form of evidence confirmed to them that the cartel wasn't the ones trying to kill them. And that would have been infinitely more satisfying than what I got out of the movie. So that's pretty much all the big negatives I have. To be honest with you, I don't have much to say about this movie. It's one of those movies that is very much set out to just be a little cop thriller film that keeps you engaged for the whole 2 hours. And you don't really think about it too much after you watch it. You're like, yeah, that was a pretty good movie. But it wasn't fantastic, and it wasn't, like, life-changing, but I had a good time with it. And that's kind of exactly what this movie not only sets out to do, but it is. I mean, it's a Netflix original, so what were you really expecting? There's not very many times that a Netflix original is overtly fantastic. But, yeah, in general, I thought The Rip was a good time. If you enjoy cop thrillers, action thrillers, if you enjoy Matt Damon and Ben Affleck, you'll have a good time with this movie. Like I said, the twist is really excellent. I thought it was pretty well put together. So, in general, that's really all I have to say about The Rip. It's a good movie. It's a fun time. I rated this one 3.5 stars on my Letterboxd. It's my third favorite out of the 4 films that I've watched this year thus far. I will continue to update my 2026 ranking. You can keep up with that in the description and with my other reviews that I make in the future. If you want to see the list of my most anticipated films in 2026, you can check that video out on my channel, as well as the Letterboxd list with the larger ensemble of films I want to see. You can also check out my 2025 ranked in the description and on my YouTube channel. And that is going to be all from me. Check out my social media for other posts that you can see about movies and stuff like that. And I will see you all in the next one. This one was a very short review. I was originally going to film this at 3 o'clock in the morning right after I finished the film, but I was way too tired. So that's going to do it from me, and I will see you all in the next one. Peace out.